So, welcome to the Off Topic Podcast. I'm Joel. Daniel's over here.
Hello.
Rebecca sitting right there. Hi, Rebecca.
Are you talking like me when I first got braces?
Rebecca, say something that isn't about furries this time.
Ew.
Okay, I guess that counts. Anyway,
I doubt
so
that picked it
when
up.
I first got into podcasts, I had just gotten out of the military. I was transitioning very poorly. I didn't have social skills because going from a culture that praises the amount of alcohol you can consume at 2 a.m. when you have to work again at 5 a.m. is very different from one where they're like, I can hear Jesus in these walls right now and I could just cry. Like, it's a harsh transition.
Yes, I'm aware.
So I was like, good God, this woman's talking to her spoon, which
Yeah.
we should just...
Should we talk about that?
Well, let's put a pin in that.
I'll
Remember,
remind you.
Thank you.
So anyway, hard transition.
It was a hard transition, so I started listening to podcasts, and I was an achievement hunter type guy.
Whoa, don't reference other podcasts.
I would watch achievement hunter videos and stuff while I was doing security because they have all the different screens. I had to do rounds, and so I would put that up in a corner and sort of minimized that and Conan O'Brien interviews, and I would legitimately be so tired I would start practicing if I was being interviewed for being a celebrity, what I would say, like, well, Conan, well, you know, the reason my hair looks so great is because I just go in the sun. You know, I found nature is the best way to improve yourself.
Well, yes, I can clog dance, but you don't want to see that. You do? That's a 30 Rock reference of Kenneth sitting on the Conan set.
But yeah, so I started getting to that, and then I found a crossover thing where they were promoting a kind of funny thing, and they did, it was Greg Miller reviewing a video game for the Vita, I think
yes,
it was
the Vita.
where you're being attacked by schoolgirls, and you have to, like, touch them and tickle them until they achieve a moment of happiness and fall down, and the screen cleaner looked like a pair of anime girl underwear, and I was so horrified and disgusted yet intrigued. I was like, what is this channel? And so I started watching Kind of Funny.
Yeah.
There was some fun housery in there as well.
Say, that video is hilarious because Greg just keeps trying to pass it off like, this is
It's
normal.
a
He starts
normal
cleaning
thing.
his glasses with the
It's
screen
so
cleaner.
awkward. And that's back when they were in just like an attachment above an apartment. It was back in the good old days. Not good old days, but like the basic ground of it. And I have a lot of respect for those guys.
And now they like hang out with Anthony Rapp with like a screen wall behind them.
Oh yeah, they did get to hang out with Anthony Rapp.
Twice. They had
and
two
the
podcasts.
dude who's the main star of Krypton, he plays Seg L, which by the way is a reference to Siegel, the last name of one of the co-creators of Superman. He was actually a Kind of Funny fan. I call them Kind of Fanatics. It's not true. They're really nice people. But he was a fan, and so when he got the gig of Krypton, after the first season, he came and went on the show. He's like, yeah, I've been a fan, and now I get to be part of Superman's culture.
And which character is this? Like,
The main character, Seg.
I need to watch that then.
He's a beautiful man.
Yeah. I finished the first season of Krypton.
Isn't Brainiac wonderful?
Yeah. Here's the thing. It happened when I think I got...
You hurt your toe, you said, swimming?
Yeah, I hurt my toe. I was like swimming, sort of kicking my legs, and I hit the shallow end, and it just...
Ow.
Yeah.
Just no need for detail on that.
But, so I couldn't walk around, so I was like, crap, I'll just sit here in front of TV. What can I do? There's nothing new on YouTube.
And then my DVD collection of Krypton is there.
I knew, the primary reason was like, I knew if I told him I'm sitting here for like 2 days unable to walk, and I haven't watched it,
It's going to be
I'll
problems.
never hear the end of it. So I watched it, and I watched it casually, sort of in the background, but I would never, like, if anytime I wanted to leave the room for like food or like stuff, I would like pause it, because I'm like, I'm not missing this.
Quick question. Not having seen season 2, currently I am one episode away. It's the season finale is the only thing I haven't seen because it hasn't aired yet.
Alright.
It airs tomorrow night as the time of recording. Who do you think Seg should be with? His first girlfriend, Zod, or Nisavex?
Nisavex.
I agree. And the stuff they do, I don't know what direction they're trying to take it, but they either need to jump and make it happen where he's with her.
Unless it's a trick question and Brainiac is the correct answer.
Oh, obviously Brainiac is the correct question. I ship them so hard in a gigantic skull ship. That's my ship.
That's what ship stands for, right? Which someone brought up the only thing that can ruin a ship is a cannon.
Ha! Ayo. Anyway, so I got into like watching the Kind of Funny podcasts and stuff like that. And then I remember the moment where I went from like a casual fan to deeply engaged.
Sorry, there's a hair on the mic. Sorry if you got tickled by that.
But he was like, hey, imagine you're fighting a bunch of third graders, wave after wave. and then a 5th grader's thrown in as a mini boss fight, like every 3rd or 5th wave. How many waves of children can you survive?
Like, what's the goal? Is it just like where they won't get up?
It's like not.
Death?
I think it's just survival. So if you maim them and get away, it's fine. But in my mind, they're like feral children.
Oh,
so death is absolutely on the table.
Death's obviously an option, but I'm thinking like riot situation.
Death is always an option.
Like where you're just trying to incapacitate.
This
and disperse.
isn't Batman animated series rules. This is Batman versus Superman rules.
Oh, okay.
But I had this moment. I was talking. So on my flight for my honeymoon, we get on this flight, and there are these 3 girls, and I knew I was in trouble because they looked like they were the 3 starter characters to a video game where they had the same sweatpants, shoes, t-shirt, and cap, but with slightly different colors on all of them. Like, they have the starter gear, but they change their colors, so our characters won't look the same.
Like Pokemon Go when it first came out.
Yeah, and they all sat in a 3-way seat together, like, all next to each other, with their knees up the entire flight, with this one girl's seatbelt hanging out in the way, and they had this emblem that was the lock screen of one girl's phone, and was in the background of a photo this other girl had. I wasn't creeping, because she was sitting there zooming in on this tablet-sized phone over and over again, using some type of app that I'd seen where she was smoothing away wrinkles and changing the color of her hair for the majority of this flight, like an hour and a half long flight, and for an hour of it, she was fixing one photo, and then her friend handed her her phone, and she started fixing her photos. Like, she was the go-to pretty girl for when it comes to that.
So she was like the forger.
And that was when I went from like, I hate this person, she's so stuck up. They all do that thing where they talk really loud and like, yes girl, slay, and they're like, anything that exists outside of their conversation isn't real. It's that type of personality.
Like the type of person, if you asked who's the president of the United States, and
they'd be like, I don't know, what year is it?
They would have to think about it.
Or they'd be like, he's a pig. I know who he is. He's a fascist. Like, there's someone who has an opinion, but they don't know why.
Yeah, it's like...
But I realized she spent this much time altering a photo of herself. She hates herself more than I ever could. Her life is constant self-doubt and suffering. No amount of evil I could wish upon her is as bad as her looking good, but not quite as good as she wants to. And then I turned to Rachel, like, hey, I know it sounds weird, but did you see that girl doing that? We got to the lodge after we left at 7 a.m. and we arrived at like 12:30 at night. And it was a 5-hour drive. And we were sitting there, I was like, hey, did you see that thing? She's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I couldn't stop watching. That was weird, right? Anyway, the logo they had was like a weird series. It was like an A, 2 lowercase a's, back to back, sharing a stem, so one of them is improper. And I was like, what is this brand? Is it like I thought it was like a makeup thing. Mm-hmm. I want you to guess what it is.
Gucci or something like that.
K-pop band. Because when I went to her brother Adam's birthday celebration, happy birthday, Adam, Lydia, her sister, was like, oh, that's what that is. It sucks. I'm like, she said the name of it, and I was like, but there's not a single A in that thing, like in the name. She's like, I know, it's a Korean letter. I'm like, no, it's our letters. They just did them wrong, like as a joke. But at the same time, I was like, that's stupid. Make your languages look a little bit more different. It's like pink and red. Like, they need to be more different, because if you put them next to each other, they make themselves both look ugly. Yuck. But language.
Well, and so that's why Valentine's Day always sucks.
Yep. They need complementary colors opposite each other on the color wheel.
What would you recommend?
I mean, personally, I would say I would just do black in a color, because, I mean, it's not initially of a good thing.
I'd say go for a peach, sort of reddish pink. But
if we're going for love, then I would say, go for like a almost salmon color with blue.
I was going to say,
because no one has that.
Instead of blue, I was going to say sort of a coffee brown to complement it.
By the way, in northern, like upstate New York, a lot of the houses use like a dark chocolate brown, and then like Lincoln Log green for accent colors, because it replicates the color palette. Like, when you get there, that's the dominant series of colors in the area because of the trees and the landscape, and it influences the way that their culture has changed and grown. And their houses are built differently. Because they don't have to be prepared for major storms. So their houses are built taller and with more open areas than ours are here in Oklahoma.
That's weird.
Yeah, there's a whole different rhythm and style to it. We've gotten even more off topic. But I was talking about the K-pop thing, and I was like, hey, I'm wondering, why do they all look identical? Because I started looking at it, I just typed in K-pop band. they all looked the same. And we started showing it to Rachel's parents and Adam and his wife Cassie and Lydia. Was like, they all look the same. And then I thought to myself, you're locked in the octagon. A fully rostered K-pop band shows up. How many of them can you beat? Because these aren't normal people. They're petite, which is not uncommon, but their faces and everything are like super smooth, like weird, gross. Like they look constantly kind of wet.
And they have to like put creams and stuff
Yeah,
before they go
so
in bed.
they have an image to keep, so they're very dainty. Which means, put me full of Red Bull. Make me listen to some Fox News or CNN or MSNBC. Make me mad. Put me in the cage with them. I'm not locked in there with them. They're locked in with me.
Oh.
So I think the biggest drawbacks are going to be cardio and getting tired. Like the cardio and my back injuries would be the biggest things that hold me back. I think I can actively take down and incapacitate to it like a UFC standard of winning 5 to 8 K-pop guys. If I've been stretching beforehand and I'm in really good shape, I think I can crack double digits. Especially when you start thinking you can grab their hair and throw them into each other.
They do have rather long hair.
They do. It's very luxurious and flowy and silky, so you can grab it, and even if it doesn't hurt them, they're going to grab onto your hand because it's like this is their image. So you can slam a K-pop kid into another K-pop kid. Now, every 3 rounds, maybe 5, I haven't come up with the rules yet, one K-pop mega fan shows up, which is rabid, as we all know, and deranged. That's going to be the difficult one. Well, I think it's like Nazi zombies. Once you get past that one round with the Hellhounds, it calms down for a little bit. It can be overwhelming, but the idea is it's an infinite number of K-pop fans, and I was going to say K-pop clones, but they're basically clones. How many K-pop band members do you think that you could destroy?
I mean, I have a very similar physique to them, so I think...
You could blend in. You'd be like Mysterio.
It'd be like Agent
Master
47,
Evolution.
just like snapping necks, sneaking out, just silent pistol.
Name's Agent 47. I'm here to eliminate the K-pop band. Which, by the way, it sucks that there's one called BTS, but whenever you type in BTS, which is short for behind the scenes for movie stuff, or like things on... I love movie trivia. So does Adam. Yeah. That's what we really hit it off talking about. You type in BTS making of Aquaman, for instance, and it'd be like, Aquaman, and then a bunch of K-pop fan reactions and weird, awkward Tumblr edits with like a lot of filters over it. They constantly look like they're in a Snapchat filter. So, which is why I think that they're not... These aren't like tough guys. Like Korea has tough people. Every country has tough people. These are not their tough people. This is the bottom of the food chain. They're like a dog breed that's been bred so long to be pretty that they have no biological safety. Yeah, it's like, they can't defend themselves.
John Wick frickin' is Asian. Like, they have no excuse to not be like...
Well, Keanu Reeves is. John Wick is a fictional character.
I mean...
Can you not tear paper?
The character is Asian as well.
I mean, I guess technically...
Like Alita Battle Angel or...
Alita Battle Angel was played by the Latino girl from the Maze Runner series. The one that sort of replaces the girl from the first one. That's Alita Battle Angel. And she's like, hey, I'll play Alita forever. But right as Alita was about to come out, Disney bought Fox. So Disney owns Alita. And Alita has an F-bomb.
Oh, no.
So I don't expect a sequel to that ever happening. It's also the Spy Kids director directed that.
I just heard the voice in my head from like Hot Fuzz, like, oh no, just like, and that really sort of pop, like rock.
I think even Rebecca could take out a K-pop person, especially if we say that
she's been taking karate, so yeah.
Since you're facing off against an army, we can say that you can choose a melee weapon.
Also, here's the thing, she's getting close to outranking Dad, and Dad's not okay with it. Dad's like taking it with her.
Give into your anger.
Dad's like,
makes you stronger.
Like I have to keep my edge. I can't let this pass. It's like, yeah, you're gonna have a 13-year-old girl.
Well, when I was in karate as a very young, like 2nd grader, Dad was in karate with me too, and then we had this thing where we had to do like a kata, and I messed it up, and I realized I'd messed it up partway through it. And so I didn't get promoted that week. I had to get promoted like later on, but you have to wait for the next round of promotion. So I was basically held back like another almost month, I think. So he started progressing, and I was so pissed that he was progressing faster than me. I was like, I messed up one thing. But because of that, all of like his progressions, they weren't kids in a lot of those higher ranks, just because by the time you've been in this long enough, you're no longer a kid. So he was like, had more rapid fire progressions, so he was getting up like multiple ranks on the same colored belt, and I was like, are you serious right now? It's like getting stuck behind one red light where the other person catches all greens. It's very frustrating. And I'm trying to find a martial arts studio near where me and Rachel are so we can start doing it together, because I mean, it's good, healthy activity, and also it feels nice knowing you can hurt people.
Yeah, Rachel needs self-defense.
She has that angry, like, she'll go into Harley Quinn New Yorker mode where, like, when someone cuts her off, she's like, what are you doing? There's a kid in the backseat. What, are you crazy? You're gonna get him killed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not exaggerating the accent. She really just talk like this whenever she gets upset. Like, she's from Brooklyn, from Jersey. And so whenever I play the Arkham series, it's been ruined because they'll be like, oh, look out, Batman. Oh, what are you doing? You hit me in the face. I'm like, I'm so sorry, Rachel. That's me punching her, for the record, for that sound design. I realized double meanings in that. That was me hitting.
I'm just worried your neighbors here. It's like, is he hitting his wife? Sounds just like her.
Actually, yeah, the neighbors that live beneath us, they really like both of us because we're really quiet and we're above them, so we don't make a lot of noise for them downstairs. Like, we vacuum and watch TV, but we're really respectful about, like, not getting too loud, and so they're not hearing constant, like, thumping people, and we're both fairly elven shaped, so we're not thumping around like dinosaur fat people.
Yeah.
Which I think also helps a little bit.
As for your question about the K-pop, I'm trying to think
what melee weapon would you take into it? I feel like that is a big game changer, because obviously a bladed weapon looked like the obvious choice, but if you're going for just the bladed weapon will eventually dull, and it only has so many angles you can hit. So I feel like if you're using a weapon, it should be something like a blunt instrument, like Daredevil style, or a maybe like a...
I mean, if it has to be melee,
like a full-sized Thor hammer, like a Stormbreaker. But then again, you're going to wear yourself out using that. So at some point, you're going to have to get rid of it. And if you're in the octagon, you could just throw it out of the octagon. Otherwise, a K-pop member might figure out how violence works and pick it up and start attacking you.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a mace.
A mace, that's a powerful choice. Rebecca, how many K-pop people do you think you could take out? What melee weapon would you choose?
Does that mean kill?
You can either, as long as they don't get back up.
Like on the ground, kind of wheezing counts.
Actually, if we're doing just knocking them down, then maybe you just punch them in the face and they don't want to get back in the fight. This may be a much easier fight than I've been giving them credit.
Then punch in the stomach and they like have the wind knocked out of them. They'd be down.
Yeah, that's a 1-2. I'm definitely getting double digits now.
Yeah, we were reaching 30s.
Well, at that point, you're wearing yourself out, like hitting a punching bag.
That's really the only limiting factor, it seems.
Another thing you might choose is to wear gloves, because you do want your wrist to be straight so you don't hurt yourself, and the padding, you are making contact with faces, and making contact with your fist is unpleasant unless you're hitting soft spots.
That's why they recommend you elbow, because your hands may have tiny bones.
Well, I have very bony elbows, so you can see I have legitimately bigger bones than I should have in my ribs and in here. So I look like Abe Sapien with that elbow.
It's good that you have, like, larger rib cage because that's more protective.
Also, I have an insane lung capacity because of it. My lungs were able to grow larger because they didn't have the right size ribs, but it also means I have to like be in shape, because if I don't have abs, my ribs are so big it looks like I'm just a perfect cylinder. So I have to build up my chest and shoulders a lot to sort of build on. It's a really tricky situation, but from across the room I can go and make Rachel's hair move, and she hates it, and I love doing that.
So,
melee weapon, and yeah, if it's just, remember, if you crack their nose, they're probably not going to want to fight anymore.
It's just to the point where they don't want to fight you anymore, but they start off wanting to fight you.
However, if you want to, you can go for the fatality.
My friend likes K-pop, so I don't think I can beat them up.
In that case, I will take on double the amount I previously said, and she will watch. I've always wanted to beat a tiny Korean man with another tiny Korean man. By the way, speaking of Korean men, before the wedding, Rachel goes to get her nails done with her friend Jenny. Yeah. I'm going. It's a place called like the Royal Salon, the Royal Palace, whatever. It's vaguely shaped like a palace. You go in, 100% Korean people. Not uncommon in that industry.
Yeah.
Certain cultures just gravitate towards a skill set that they have.
It's Vietnamese.
No, these were Korean.
They're usually
Vietnamese.
Well, Asian.
Well, there was more Vietnamese people near Fort Bliss doing things. They did a lot of sewing and hair cutting. But I think, you just marry into a people, you go to a military base.
Bosco does nails, whatever.
I would love if he did my nails. Anyway.
Nice.
So we're there, potentially Vietnamese. people are there, and this guy's there, and he's like, hey, would you like this? I'm breathing in the fumes of like nail polish and all the chemicals they're putting in people's hair, feet, and like nails. It's just disturbing. Rachel can't stand breathing pollen, but she can breathe just fine in this chemical war zone.
Dear mercy.
So I'm there. I'm like, oh, I'm just here with them in support. You know, I could have gone to like vintage stock across the way, but I wanted to show like, hey, I'll do things I don't necessarily want to. And I figure it's a good faith sign before a wedding, just to sort of cement the, hey, I'm here even for things I don't necessarily get excited about. This dude was convinced I needed a pedicure. And I was like, my feet are disgusting from years of wearing combat boots and sweating in the desert. I have toenails so thick, you could make Captain America's shield out of them. Like, lots of calcium. I don't know what it is. I'm not letting anyone see my feet. I didn't even want Rachel to see my feet when we were married. I was like, they're feet. They're gross. They get sweaty.
They're like
Ew.
hands, but worse.
Way worse. And this dude was convinced I needed to get my toes done.
You're gonna find out that was like someone sent from like the future and be like, no, you need this. And it was gonna stop the apocalypse.
I'll take the apocalypse. I'm uncomfortable showing my feet off to people. Rachel has only heard me fart twice in our entire time dating and being married for
a little over
almost 2.5 years now.
I was trying to think like, oh well, it was a year.
2.5, almost
But then
3
I was
years.
like, wait, no, that's how long they've been engaged. And then
Yeah.
you were engaged for a year. And then
The first time she heard me fart, I didn't even mean to. I was just so exhausted. I was laying down and she walked into the room and I was like, son of a gun. Another time, same scenario. I was just tired. I sat down. She was cooking. It happened. I was like, dang it. Luckily, she was playing the Hobbit music because that relaxes her. I don't know if she heard it.
I'm just picturing like the.
It's just a lot of pan flutes and...
Oh, I was thinking it was like the whole like Mr. Tumnus song they played.
It wasn't like a dubstep drop. It wasn't like a...
Yeah, I was just picturing
May
like
I
the.
clarify that's you making with your mouth?
Yeah, these are my mouth sounds. I did not point my butt towards the microphone and produce gaseous sound effects. Although Rachel's, she has like no fat because she's annoyingly healthy. However, her, where the elbow is, it's not an armpit. What is that? The pit formed by the joint of your elbow.
Yeah.
I put my mouth there. I blow air. Sounds like the dirtiest fart mankind has ever witnessed. It's hilarious. And because I have facial hair, when I do it to Rachel's neck, the sound and the feeling of my hair going and like tickling her, like a bunch of granddaddy longlegs river dancing across her neck, she always makes this bizarre Disney princess laugh. It's
Granddaddy Long apparently has like a different name that's like dope, and I don't know.
well, yeah, because granddaddy long. First of all, apparently some people just call them daddy longlegs, which sounds
That sounds dirtier.
well.
weirdly.
A meme my buddy Scott showed me, one of the guys, which is weird because he was in the army, so I know him as Schmidt, but his name is Scott Schmidt, so Scott. And he was like, hey, here's a meme, because we had Operation Eternal Matrimony was our group message chat for how many army guys I could get to come to the wedding that were like, available at the time. And he shared one, and it was like a scientist like, oh man, this spider's really cool. Let's call him long legs because of his long legs. Scientist number 2, no, not kinky enough. And that's why it's called the daddy long legs. Did you get a haircut, Becca? Looks good.
Oh, it's commonly known as the cellar spider, the daddy long leg spider, granddaddy long leg spider, carpenter spider, daddy long legger,
Ew.
vibrating spider,
Yeah.
and skull spider.
That one's the way best one. It's
Exactly.
like oh, speaking of skulls, for the multi-hour drive me and Rachel had to make to the Whiteface Lodge, located in the Adirondack Mountains in northern upstate New York. Book your time today. It only cost both your kidneys. We're stuck on this long highway in New York where people do drive much faster, and I was very grateful for it. We were in this, this is going to sound like a total plug, Nissan Rogue Sport 2018. It had lights, like little tic-tac lights on the, like, where the mirror comes out in the front seat, and when a car was in your blind spot, it would light up and make a sound.
That's genius.
And if there was a car too close behind you or in front of you, it also made a chime.
That's good.
Great fuel, by the way. We drove 5+ hours at very high speeds through mountains, and we used half the tank.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty phenomenal.
Turns out cars are getting better with time. Some of them, not counting certain Chevy.
Now I'm just thinking it's like the one where they put that dude from Boston and it's like the hipsters like, oh, we're here to develop the Chevy commercial for you. It's like, oh man, I really wish you busted your face right there. I'm not a millennial. Oh my god, I just looked it up. I am a millennial. What happened to Gen Z?
What happened to Generation Y? Yeah, which that's an entire YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen it.
Which they have.
It's pretty funny.
One of those has a joke like, I bet you're gonna edit me out of this video like you always do.
Oh, that's a pretty. I like that. The idea that all the commercials are actually the edited and he's the original. That's a good. I like that.
I like that version where it's just like, because it's supposed to be real people. That's the best part. It's like it's real people. It's like, yeah, you're gonna get some people you don't like.
I wonder if they do actually, because I mean, they're like, it's real people, not actors.
They definitely groom them and
it's like,
them.
Hey, do you like Chevy? Yeah.
Which I do love the running jokes. Like, you spent all your budget on that giant door to hide your car, didn't you?
But yeah, what was I saying before the driving? At the lodge.
Great efficiency. Cars are getting better.
I was at the lodge. Rebecca, what did I say? I was going up to the lodge. What were we talking about? I just lost it.
Completely lost. Let's see. Granddaddy Longlegs going up to the lodge.
Skull Truck. Thank you. So Skull Truck was what we called this big red truck with a. This is how you knew the guy was unstable, because he's driving a pickup truck and on the back is a skull that's like smiling and bloody, like a psychopath one. That's like an edgy meme he forever has on his pickup truck. And he's driving it, constantly weaving in and out, trying to like get in front of me. And for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, he's in front of me. And when he finally peeled off, I legitimately felt an emptiness in me. I was like, I've been so mad at this guy for so long. I don't know how I'm going to exist without him. Skull Truck, if you're listening, you shouldn't be allowed to drive. You're really bad at it. And then on the way back, Skull Truck number 2 had 2 American flag skulls on either side of his rear view, like on the truck windows, like his window and this middle slide window, 2 skulls. And he was worse. He kept trying to go around me, and then there's this blue Subaru who kept trying to get around me, and he would start to pass me, and then he'd realize the reason that no one's in the right lane passing, because A, you're not supposed to, and B, that's where all the RVs and stuff are. So although there's a gap that leads up to an RV, and there's a straight wall of people going faster on the left side. And I was very thankful about this in New Yorkers. They don't let people in. It was gorgeous. It was just a wall in which he was crashing against every time. Not literally, obviously. But, so he tried to pass me 5 times. He would go up, accelerate. At first, I didn't even notice him. He passed me at one point, and I passed him again before all this started up. And Rachel's like, haha, that shows him. I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even notice. And then he just kept going up. And I'll admit, one time I did intentionally accelerate so he couldn't get ahead of me. And finally he did, and he disappeared, and then he just pulled off into a rest stop. I was like, dude, I don't know what you thought was so important, but getting there 5 minutes earlier isn't worth potentially killing someone. However, you're also a douche, and I wish you a horrible day.
Yeah. I hope he is walking around in socks and steps in a puddle.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I hope that he wakes up with the wet dog in his bed.
That happened to me, by the way. Our little dog had gotten a bath and decided to dry off on top of me in my bed.
True love. Yeah, it's funny. I missed being around you guys, and then I came home and immediately was like, you know, it's not so bad being away from here. Oh, the lodge we liked so much, me and Rachel. I have a video on my phone of me stepping out the dimensions, taking photos of every outlet, every light switch, every structural thing, the brand of every feature in it, so that someday we can buy property. And our plan is to get like a prefab tiny home and just live in that for a few years, and then over the course of like a year when we have the money, literally recreate that lodge space, because it was a suite, so it had a full kitchen, full living room. All we're going to add is a hallway with like an extra guest bedroom and an office and a basement. That's all we're adding to it. It's literally perfect because it's ergonomically designed so that every space feels optimized and flows really well.
So rather than putting all the pressure, like, how are we going to design this? It's already designed.
Yeah, so we were like, we literally like this. I was like, do you like this type of wood? Would you want brighter or darker? She's like, I love this. What about this? I love that too. This type of furniture, we want that here. We want this type of door. And it was pretty much just a one-for-one recreation of what she wants. So I'm really excited about that. I mean, it's going to be obviously like 5 to 8 years away before we have the time and we know where we're going to be. Because when you build a house, you're committing to be there for at least a decade. Like, you built it, you're living in it. So, because we helped fix a house on a property, and then within a year, we moved to Missouri. I'm not doing that again. I'm selfish. If I make it, I'm living in it.
Yeah.
So,
that's what
also,
Grandpa Dan did.
This bathroom, heated tile floor.
I've seen some people do that.
It has like a dial. You can turn the heat. We had it up top all the time. It just radiates heat. So you'll be in the hot tub, which is separate from the shower, sitting in the hot tub in the corner, soaking up while she does her makeup, whatever she wants to do. You get out, you're walking on this warm tile floor. It's like you haven't left the tub. And then you take one step outside, realize she has all of the windows open to let the cool breeze in. So you were publicly showing off the fact that you were very cold. But we were on the second floor, so it wasn't a big deal. Also, we ran into a bunch of rich kids who were like, you know, it was like, you suck, just go ahead and do it. Oh my gosh, I hate you so much. That. But louder. And like the dude was clearly like high school age and like a lanky, awkward dude, but he thought using the F word made him cool. And I had so many good digs at him that I was like holding the weapon in my hand ready to strike, because the sister was annoying, but the guy was constantly like, he would accidentally do well at a game, be like, yeah, that's right, skill all day, dude, got the skill. I was like, you dumb mother trucker. And it's one of those scenarios where the parents clearly just wanted to go to the lodge and like, get the fuck out of our hair for a couple of minutes, go down to the game room, play pool, play all these other games down here. Just leave us alone.
How old was this human being?
The girl looked like she was maybe a couple years older than Rebecca, so probably still like middle school-ish. Yeah, and then the brother 14, was 15. Probably mid-high school.
Okay, I was worried these were adults you were speaking of.
No. I mean, they're clearly going to grow up with nepotism, so they're going to suck into adulthood. I mean, I'm banking that the daughter might grow up and be okay, but that son was clearly like needed to be the center of attention, probably because his parents don't pay enough attention. But
you know what's gonna happen? That kid's gonna go like BMXing at some point. He's gonna break his leg and he's gonna have to work at his dad's law firm, like just cleaning up coffee cups.
You do realize I'm going into high school next year, right?
What? Dude, what?
Yeah.
That's not right. Anyway, but this is how relaxed I was the entire honeymoon. That was going on, and at the pool, it's one of those, there's a hot tub, an indoor pool, and then you swim underneath, and you swim underneath an opening thing.
Like a half wall?
And on the outside, you're going underneath a bridge, and you're in the pool outside that then trickles off down into like a rocky runaway. So it's constantly like really well done. There's two hot tubs on the other side. It's beautiful. These kids were screaming and splashing nonstop. I was so relaxed, I didn't care. I hate children.
Yeah.
Like, the youngling murder scene in episode 3 is my favorite moment in Star Wars cinematic history. I've literally had dreams, like, there was a kid who wouldn't get out of my way, and I realized that his head was at the perfect height. If I just lifted my leg all the way, I could have put my foot on his forehead, just ridden the forward momentum I had down, and just stomped him. Not killed him, just boom. Hey, don't run up to me and hit me with a balloon. You're a douche. That's the level of like hair trigger, I'm ready to assault a child with a weapon I'm at a regular basis, but I don't because it's society and I obey the rules. But on this honeymoon, I was like, well, I was a kid once too, you know, you can't really get onto them, they're just trying to have fun.
Yeah.
And I will say there was a group of kids that they had like, the wall had like a double layer like arch thing where you swim under, and these kids were doing pull-ups where they would do a pull-up out of the water and lift and try and like propel themselves up into the air, release their hands, and then grab on, and they were doing like muscle ups. And I was like, dude, good for that. These two little girls, I don't know what age they were, they looked Dora sized, very tiny. They step out with abs.
What?
Like a six-pack on these two little girls that aren't like, they're still the target age that Hannah Montana was aimed at when it was going on.
Oh my goodness.
I only noticed this because Rachel turns to me, was like, oh my god, those children have abs. I was like, what are they doing to them? And why didn't my parents do that to me?
You know what? You now have the chance to be that kind of parent.
You know what? I will be. I'm going to inject my children with steroids.
Not what I meant.
And not love them enough.
Not what I meant.
The only way they can have my attention is if they prove that they are better than the others.
Yeah, skill. Drinking Monster Code Red.
He was the poster boy for Monster Energy drinks or Mountain Dew.
Or condoms.
If he had a shirt that said Gamers Rise Up, he would have been perfect. But he's like the type of guy who's not athletic, but he was like third string on a sports team. He was like, yeah, you know, whatever.
You know, I bet Okay, here's a question.
And he was a ginger.
What
Not even like a real ginger, like an albino ginger. It's
Like-
the worst.
What YouTube channels do you think that guys subscribe to?
Absolutely PewDiePie, Markiplier. I'm going to say kids react, adults react. No, he's probably not cool enough for Minecraft. So I'm going to say he's probably into like the Call of Duty competitive scene. And he's really into CSGO, but he's never played and he doesn't know why people like it, but he acts like it's cool because his friends talk about it. And he definitely thinks he knows what sex is.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, totally. When I had sex,
Like, this guy's name is Tyler.
like
I don't know that, but he feels like a Tyler.
this when the lady whipped out her penis, it was like same size as mine, and that meant that it was good sex.
And then we held hands and made a wish, and now I'm pregnant. He's not that out of it, but, I mean, he has access to the internet. But he seems like the type of guy who definitely... There's some deep psychological thing that wasn't fulfilled in his childhood being raised. But it's not my problem to fix that, so I'm just going to make fun of him.
Yeah, and it's not like we outed the kid with his name.
Yeah, I don't know his name. I just know he's a douche.
Yeah, and it's
That's
not like you
vague.
could track him down. He was like at a vacation place.
I mean, I could track down everyone
could-
else who lived there. I could find him. I could...
Well, it's possible that he he's like, oh, we're from Connecticut, and just went there on vacation.
Yeah, there's no way to know. Anyway,
Be anyone.
that's
He
just
could
my...
be he could be a Chinese man.
He could have been the man that wanted my feet! Also, have you seen Rachel's hair? She went blonde.
Yeah, he sent me a picture.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. She washed her hair, and it went blonder. And, like, the chemicals hadn't finished doing it, so they're like, yeah, by the way, your hair's gonna get blonder. So one day she just walked out and was like, hey, I'm even more blonde. Also, we started watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right before we left for the honeymoon.
Yeah.
As of right now, we're like 5 episodes deep into season 3. We are space trucking, come on.
Is that the space one?
No, this is the season. I don't know if she'll listen to this. It's got sort of Ward is rebuilding Hydra in his own way. It has the Jamma's been sucked through the monolith to a alien planet where the first Hydra existed.
What on earth did I miss?
The next season introduces Ghost Rider and Digital Hydra, like the Matrix Elseworld.
I think
Then they go to space, and then there's the current season with a version of a character that I won't spoil from a previous season who isn't that person. It's like from another dimension, and they're hunting like space bats or something. And then the final season is going to be
What?
time travel. I'm not making any of this up. Also, Peggy Carter shows up in a lot of episodes for like flashbacks.
so. That's all the time we have. So I meant to say,
But yeah, any final suggestions before we go? Watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
iZombie's a pretty good show.
iZombie is a phenomenal show. It has a horrible
yeah.
name. Watch the first 2 episodes and you'll love it.
Oh, apparently Jasmine has watched a bit of it.
Dude, good for her.
Yeah, she's.
How
good.
is she?
I think she actually graduated.
From college?
Yeah,
I thought she was behind us.
I have no.
I think she went to basic training, but she's coming back to finish.
That's what. It was. Okay, because I know she was acting like she wouldn't be back for a while, and I was like,
Yeah, I
weird.
think she just spent the summer working out and eating bad food.
Well, that's the problem. She's younger than a year younger than me, but she's way more confident. But I
Oh,
told her
yeah,
this
she's
to
cool.
her face. It's not a weird thing.
She also burps like a sailor.
Yeah. She's a gem.
She is. She's
Also, 3 games I'm excited for. Watch Dogs 3, though I still
Watch Dogs Legion, you mean?
I still think Watch Dogs 3 should have been, you have the guys from 2, and Aiden comes in as the straight man to their antics.
It would have been great. I'm
Granted-
excited to just make an entire team of senior
Yeah.
citizens.
Yeah. I'm also excited for Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, yeah.
Together, those 2 games let me live out my V for Vendetta dreams.
That's true.
And then Death of the Wild, the name that has kind of been coined by fans for the Breath of the Wild trailer that's all creepy.
I'm looking forward to Ooblets. It's a game that's
Which have you
it's
seen?
adorable.
Have you seen the Death of the Wild trailer?
Oh yeah, I have.
It's
I'm
so
sort
creepy.
of cautiously optimistic for Death Stranding. I'm worried that Kojima might have gone so far up his own butt with thinking he's cool that he
didn't-
may have screwed the pooch.
He didn't
And
let Stephanie Houston in.
yeah,
That's the
that was a
part.
real dick move.
That and
He hurt that beautiful angel of a woman.
yeah,
She seems annoyingly nice.
I subscribe to her on Twitch, which by the way, she's on Twitch. Steph Plays. Check out her out.
Also, don't forget about Becca Plays or
No.
Rebecca Plays Resident Evil.
No.
I was gonna say she plays through Metal Gear, a little bit of Mega Man, and then the Final Fantasy 15. So she cuts between English and Japanese just speaking.
And she's wildly talented.
Yeah, it's a little upsetting. For
She's attractive, talented, and very polite.
and she
She's
has
like
2 beautiful dogs.
She's almost at Sam Witwer level of perfection.
Yeah. Which also, Sam Witwer has a Twitch channel, and so does Gina Gavankar.
Gina Gavankar, yeah.
Yeah.
I also
Gavankar, that's right.
I like watching Bruce Green from Funhouse.
Hmm.
He actually took a sabbatical from Funhouse so he could relax and focus more on just relaxing and being happy. He's not
Good
gone.
on him.
Yeah, you just don't hear the term sabbatical used very much. So when he's like, I'm taking a sabbatical, I'm like, oh, I have to remember that word.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
a very adult word for someone who plays video games for a living.
He's actually, as much as he plays the big dummy, he is a genuinely very polite man.
Yeah, he knows a lot of statistics and stuff. doesn't he?
Also,
Like,
he's a big fan of Mr. Sensitive 3000, so I already got along with him.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there are any other Twitch people that I want to recommend.
I guarantee you everyone will recommend has more followers than we do.
Oh, yeah.
For now.
Bob Ross. He has a Twitch channel and it always has more
wait till
people.
we go to Mixer. You see Ninja went to Mixer?
Yeah, and pretty much everyone's like, oh, good for him.
Yeah, he's getting paid a lot of money. He already has basically the same followers. And Twitch was like, hey, we'll just put other channels on your channel, which has never happened before. They started showing Russian porn on his channel. A lot of people worked the algorithm. They all dogged in and made higher viewership on this illegal stream of porn on Twitch. And then it was featured on his channel because it was featuring the highest watched channels. And so he was like, hey, by the way, Twitch has actually been kind of a dick to me behind the scenes, but I wasn't going to call him out. But this is really bad. And I'm really sorry if any of you were traumatized.
Yeah, that's...
Also, he's a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
Also,
Which...
Vin Diesel is a billionaire. He owns the Fast and Furious franchise.
Wait, what?
He owns it.
He owns...
So he gets a lot of that money.
So wait, that means...
I don't think he's gonna get Hobbs and Shaw money though.
Man, that Vin Diesel wheelman really did well for him.
I did. Anyway, Rebecca, do you have anything to suggest? Yeah, you should watch Nick Jonas do anything. Thanks, Becca.